Manhood is the ability to kill your pet turkeys and eat them, and feed their flesh to your family.
Yeah, sure. And make your kids pluck the feathers. So
Yeah, they didn't like doing that.
they did not like. I saw the picture.
They were doing that this evening, and they were not crazy about it.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has it under voluntary control.
Now, who said that? Do I got to guess?
No, you don't got to guess. I mean,
Who said?
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson. You know, Jordan Peterson is there's a group of people who are sort of talking about masculinity
He's
in the
one of them.
West. Jordan Peterson's one, Jocko's one. I think Shapiro does it a little bit. Sam Harris does it some. The intellectual dark web guys are all talking about what Western masculinity is like. I think Jordan Peterson has it's. I would agree with the quote to say that a part of masculinity is the ability and willingness to take the role of the protector.
Okay.
Right.
That's pretty much what that quote says.
Isn't it though?
Yeah. So a harmless man is not a good man.
Right.
A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has it under voluntary control.
Is that what you think you are? Do you think you're a dangerous man, Justin?
Well, of course, I don't think I know I am, but aren't you a dangerous man? You just killed two. You just killed two turkeys, man, in cold blood. Sounds pretty dangerous. You're actually a little bit more dangerous than me. Okay.
I find myself becoming more dangerous. I can say that.
Yeah.
That my willingness to, I don't know. My willingness to
kill stuff.
Well, my willingness to engage the physical is increased. I can say that. So, I kind of that seems like it's something that we all want to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
But if Jesus is our model for masculinity,
okay,
his act of bravery was not him being dangerous, although he is dangerous. Right? The emphasis should be on the last part of the quote. The controlled thing. Right?
Yeah.
So the good man is the dangerous man, but he keeps that danger under control or something like that.
Yeah.
Is what you said?
Yeah.
Right. So Jesus constrains the danger that he is able to impart with us. I mean, you ever sing that song? He could have called 10,000 angels to destroy the world and set him free. That kind of stuff. That hymn. You remember that one?
No.
Do you sing hymns? Have you ever heard of his hymn? It's kind of like a Lawrence Welk.
Yeah, I definitely haven't, man. Sorry, bud.
No, that's not your jam.
Sorry, not my jam, not my man
Not your
jam.
jam.
Although you apparently have a lot more man jams than I thought you ever did. So
well, you watch Letterkenny and you stick your arm elbow deep up into a bird. I mean, it's jamming. That's my jam. Anyway.
So you're saying that Jesus.
I'm saying there's a sense in which Jesus is the perfect example of what Jordan Peterson is saying.
Exactly.
Because he is imminently dangerous.
He's very dangerous.
And yet
He
he
ruffled all the
restrains that.
feathers. He goes in the face of all politics of that day, you
Hmm.
know, confronting. I mean, very. I mean, that's why he was crucified, because he was dangerous and controversial. He
Well,
upset the status quo.
I think the danger is that every power, principality, authority has been placed under his feet. This is where he's dangerous. He's dangerous in the act of judgment that is to come. This is where we see his primo danger,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that judgment comes upon all of those who don't have faith in him. So it's kind of like if you come under my protection in my house, I will do everything that I can to protect everyone in my house. You probably feel the same way. You got somebody in your
Yeah.
household. What's your responsibility as the man of the house? Your responsibility is to protect. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So through faith, we come under the protection of Jesus within his household,
Yeah.
right? All those who are outside of his household, he still has authority
Yeah.
over you, but you're going to be the recipients of his wrath. So you're
Yeah.
going to experience the danger that's inherent in him. Kind of like the way Aslan is depicted in the Chronicles of Narnia.
Okay.
They say they say he's he's kind, but he's not tame, and that's the that I think is something that's missing from modern day evangelicalism, because people don't necessarily think about Jesus in terms of his judgment and in terms of his authority, which is something that I like to emphasize at church a lot, because I don't like the sissified version of Jesus sitting on sitting on a rock petting a sheep, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean that doesn't, although I would like to own a sheep someday. That image of Jesus
Totally.
doesn't really impress me.
Yeah.
But him coming in fury at the end of the age, that's an impressive image. So that's the ideal that I'm trying to get across to at least my congregation, is we don't serve a God, we don't serve a savior who is passive. We serve one who is act he is active saving the world. He will actively come in judgment, fury. That I can get behind.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's because I'm a little too aggro for my own good. I don't know. Maybe I've been fighting too many people at judo or something like that. It's mess. Maybe it's messing me all up. What do you think?
Maybe. I mean, there are a little Facebook group. All of this, martial arts and ministers are mixed together. It's a big old mess there.
Dude, some
I
of
like
those guys you
those
gotta
guys
watch
are.
out for. Some of those guys are straight up troublemakers. You gotta
Dude, I
like
like
one of
them.
those dudes. Oh, that's a good group. That's like one of my favorite groups
That's my
to pay
favorite group
attention
right
to.
now. Yeah.
So, because they're
Which
funny.
one of those dudes does what? He's like,
I'll tell you offline. One of those dudes I wouldn't I would I'd be careful with, but but he'd probably say the same thing about me. He'd probably be like, Martin, be careful. Cool. Yeah, I see him killing all these birds on Facebook. Great.
yeah, yeah. I bet. Yeah,
Making his kids play with their carcasses.
yeah. They're like, no, you can't play Xbox, but I've got a dead bear carcass for you.
Ooh. Oh, Dave was. I
He,
mean, he did it.
he did not like it though.
He did not like it. The only thing I had the kids do is go over the birds again and make sure that they got all the little feathers out.
Yeah,
That's all they had to do. Easy.
yeah.
Leia and I got the most of the feathers. They had to
Mm-hmm.
go through and pick out some more. And I'll probably go through them again after they're done brining and see what else I can find and get out of there. Because once again, we're not professionals, so there might
Mm-hmm.
be a feather in there, and you
Yeah.
don't want to eat a feather.
Ah, man, a little feather never hurt nobody.
I know. That's where pillows come from. And
Exactly.
pillows make us all sleep good at night.
I like him. I enjoy him greatly. I enjoy him greatly.
So have
So
you listened to a lot of Jordan Peterson?
no. I mean, I know he had the whole what was it 2017 controversy when they were doing like in Canada the whole
Trans thing.
yeah, the gender specific, gender pronouns you had to use and couldn't use, or making it an illegal act, and on the I think it was on the campus. I think that's what it was, but
Yeah.
or was it? No, it was in Canada. Was
Yeah, it's in Canada.
and they were just saying these are like legal terms you can use, and he just balked at it. And I mean created a huge controversy on that campus, divided it big time, and so
Well, the big issue for him was he was saying that it is wrong for the state
oh yeah,
to control language.
exactly. He's not
That's
wrong.
what he was emphasizing freedom of speech. Is
But
what he was doing.
but what everybody was and like what everybody was doing was they they missed the point. It was one of those kind of things. They missed the point of
You're being transphobic, Justin.
yeah, that's what they was doing. And that was they were like he was like no, that has absolutely nothing. That's really had nothing to do with it. Whether he agreed with it or not, it was a linguistic issue that he had and everything.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was he I might I mean I'm gonna start listening to some Jocko stuff, and I might start listening. He's got a podcast and everything too, so I'm probably gonna check
Dude,
that out.
Jocko's podcast is legit.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out Jocko's podcast, but I'm gonna check out Peterson's podcast too a little bit.
His podcast is pretty good. I listen to it. He doesn't produce as much. He
Yeah.
does like once a month or so.
Yeah. So
But I still want to read the 12 Rules for Life.
yeah. I saw that too. I was thinking about picking that up, but no, I just he's just interested. I saw that quote, kind of interested me. I remember the whole 2017 thing, and then I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of an interesting thing. I know he talks a lot about masculinity, so I'm gonna just kind of check him out a little bit. So, but no, I was interested because it's just like I think about that a lot. About just us as men and what it means for us to be a man, and I think back like your whole point of the sissified Jesus, I think we're kind of plagued with it a little bit in certain aspects of it, and but like, we're to be like we're to be like Christ, and I think that Jesus was as a human, Jesus when he was in human form was very much a dangerous individual, and that's the reason why he was crucified, because he was tearing down everything that they had been working so hard at and stuff like that. So there's that aspect. Then there's also the aspect of he ultimately is the judge of everything, and there's that danger too that he poses. But then at the same time, because like that's that part about that second part, like we said, a good man is a very, very dangerous man who has it under control. That's the emphasis of Christ too. That while we were sinners, he still dies for us. While he's very dangerous, he does everything he can to save us, and that's like, and it's one of those kind of things where. Like I made this statement the other day that I was talking about judgment, and I was talking about Hosea, and they were pronouncing judgment. He's pronouncing judgment on Israel and using like the names of Hosea's kids, naming Hosea's kids, all these things that pronounce judgment on him, and I'm like explaining all that, and I'm like, and I kind of go, it's kind of messed up, right? And everybody's kind of sitting there going, yeah, it's really, really messed up, and but then I just kind of was like, I just said, don't get lost in the judgment, because I think that's what happens a lot to us. Like we get lost in judgment because we're like sitting here, like even going back to a conversation you and I had a while ago about, kind of a crisis of faith that certain people might have at times, believing that, how could God do this or how could God do that, and you and I basically said, like I'm thankful for that. That I'm saved through the sacrifice of Christ. So don't get lost in the judgment. And I think a lot of times, so many of us do. We get lost in the judgment of, I can't believe this is his penalty. But at the same time, he's done everything to give us a way out. He's provided a way up out under it. And so it's just one of those kind of things. I was thinking very much along the same lines as here. Is that a harmless man is not a good man. And a good man is a very, very dangerous man who has under control, and that is Jesus, and that's who we're supposed to model and everything. And don't get, and like I think for us, we kind of get lost in the culture of our day that says what we're supposed to be like as men. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's very much a similar situation, and we're supposed to be, I guess men and women, the bottom line is this: we're different. We're very different.
Yes.
And that's okay. And it's perfect.
In a good way.
And it's a great thing. But
complementary.
But I think in our culture, we have this push to make men more like women. And so it's basically what he's talking about, It's kind of creating us to be safe. The Jewish man back in the day was not a safe man. They were the ones that protected the family. They were the ones that were out there. David was a dangerous man. He was a dangerous boy. He's fighting freaking bears and lions and stuff to save the sheep. Mm-hmm. He's protecting his family by protecting this flock of sheep and everything. And so, he was a dangerous man, a very, very dangerous man. And so I just think about that because I look at our culture and what it says about us as men or what we're supposed to be like. And I don't know about you, but like when culture tells me what I'm supposed to be like, I always look to the Bible and I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't like that. I don't like that. And I have a right not like that. Because this is how God created me to be. Mm-hmm. And I want to embrace that. I want to be that dangerous man that has it under voluntary control. And so, I think I am. I think I, it's just, I don't know, it just got me thinking a lot. And so, reflecting on our culture, reflecting on our day and age, reflecting on what, I think men think they're supposed to be like, or even what men expect, or what women expect men to be like, At the same time, man, I don't want, we don't want our women to be, like all the men, and stuff like that.
No.
So, it's,
I want them to have traits that I don't have.
Yeah.
Because then you complement one another as opposed to being mirror image of one another. The mirror image does not work.
Although I will say this, Martin.
Yeah.
Dangerous woman's not a bad thing either. All right.
Hey, any mother's a dangerous.
Absolutely.
I promise you that.
I know. I'll tell you what. Right now,
be careful.
My wife right now.
Uh-huh.
Very dangerous woman. Oh yeah.
Why did you eat all her chocolate?
No. She's training jiu-jitsu 3 days a week now.
Y'all crazy.
Man, she's legit. She comes. Mm-hmm. Remember how I used to tell you I come home from jiu-jitsu and I have bruises all over my body?
Mm-hmm.
Man, now she's coming home bruised all over her body. And then mm-hmm. we get done training for an hour and a half. She comes home, does 35 push-ups. Just gets down and starts doing them just to see how many she can do. I'm like, dang, she's a tough one. And so,
calm down, Justin. Calm down. Don't get too excited.
Then she's like, down and give me another 5. I was like, oh, I can't do that. I'm gonna do 10. So I did. So mm-hmm. Just to outdo her. So, mm-hmm. But the good part is, I always have a training partner. So, I always have a training partner. So, but yeah, I'm gonna.
So you commented that you feel like our society is trying to get men to be more like women.
At times, yeah.
Or be more feminine rather than masculine. So, do you mean that in the sense that we should not be dangerous? That the men today are being encouraged not to be dangerous? or that they're being encouraged not to have it under control, that they lack discipline.
No. Not the lack of discipline. I don't think that's the encouragement. I think it's the encouragement of the dangers. Like, we're supposed to, I don't know. There's a lot of characteristics that my wife has that I don't. She's much more of a nurturer. Whereas I'm a protector. And she has a little bit more sensitivity than I do. She's a little bit more compassionate for certain things. I mean, I'm compassionate as well, but
Yeah.
she her level of compassion way outweighs mine, and especially when it comes to our kids, and other people at times, and so, but it's not so much that like her, it's nothing wrong. It's a beautiful thing, and there's a lot of characteristics about women that are fantastic, but there's the thing is that like you say we want our men to be more sensitive and more nurturing and more this and that, and it's not to say that a man can't be nurturing or a man can't be sensitive. We can be, but don't say this is the picture that you have to be at all the times. Because at the same time, we have to be bold. We have to be strong. We have to be confident. We have to be brave. There's a lot of different things, the characteristics that we have, and personality traits. We don't always think the same way, and that's okay. All right, we're very, very different, and a lot of times we're expected to be, and like that's the one thing I see is that you see some of these traits that they're saying we wish men would be more like this, and I actually. When I counsel couples and things like that, like I expect them to be. I even say, what are your expectations? And they say, well, I expect him to be this and this and this and this. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I have to go, oh, so you expect him to be more like a woman? I'll even say that, and then that kind of gets them thinking. They're like, oh, never really thought about it that way, because they don't. Mm-hmm. They don't, And it's nothing, like I said, it's nothing wrong with that, but it's not always who men are. Like, we think differently, we respond differently, like I would say, I guess the main thing, like women are more of the nurturer, whereas we are more the protector. Those are more characteristics of men. Sometimes when the home is broken, people have to take on different traits. If I was a single dad, then I'd have to take a little bit more traits of a nurturer,
Yeah.
And the same thing for, Faye was a single mom. She'd have to take more of the traits of a protector, But naturally, I'm more of a protector, and naturally she's more of a nurturer. And so it just, it works that way. And so, but I don't think that it's, I don't think that we're expected to be. I don't think it's that self-control issue. I think it's like that's the expectations of certain things in our culture. Men should be more like this and this and this and this. Mm-hmm. It denies a lot of who we are. So, but probably make some people mad about that. Sorry, though.
Who would be mad about that?
I don't know. People that don't agree with it. Which is all right. I'm all right with that.
I don't know why anyone would disagree with that. That doesn't sound odd to me at all.
Yeah, but then again, you're not dealing with like that. Like you don't deal with it where you're at, and honestly, I don't deal with it where I'm at. But you look on like social media, and you look on, you read news and you watch stuff like that, and there's like a part of culture that is like, gosh, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, but a very feminist type aspect of our culture that is that speaks against masculinity and is saying how dangerous it is and everything. Whereas I don't see that as the case. Now you wouldn't. I don't think in our church you'd ever have anybody say that. I had one one instance that where it was a little bit of a, a bucking of, hey, this is, the way you handle stuff is more, it wasn't, they were kind of questioning how we choose leadership and things like that in our church, And,
Was it like an egalitarian thing? Why you don't have female elders or female?
yeah, yeah.
Why
And
why
then,
Faye isn't the preacher instead of you? That
yeah,
kind of stuff.
and I did what any Christian minister leader would do, and I said, well, let's just look at God's word. That's what I did. And I said, you can go ahead and argue with me all you want to, but you're going to have to do it through God's word. And so that's what I did. That's the only, we've only had it one time, and it didn't last very long. It was, and it was just like a year ago that happened, year and a half ago. And so I was just like, I was like, nah, okay. But we don't see a whole lot of that, but I think that is something we might start seeing more of it later on, but it's just something to kind of be kind of thinking about and be prepared.
Well, you have to develop an understanding of what biblical manhood and what biblical womanhood is like.
Exactly.
What does it mean to be a godly man and a godly woman? And how are those things similar and how are they different?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, and you can't just go. You have to go beyond just looking at Proverbs 31.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, there's more to it than that. Although that's not a bad place to that conversation. We'll have to include that. Mm-hmm. So, but you want to flesh it out more and look at those female heroes in the Bible.
Absolutely.
Those male heroes in the Bible and look at the contradictions between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Their complements between the two, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
On Sunday, I was talking about Moses, and I was pointing out that, in part of the sermon, I pointed out that Moses was not the kind of leader that all of us know is a good one.
Mm-hmm. When
God says, Moses, you're going to go back to Egypt, and you're going to take my people out of there, Moses, what does he do? Does he say, yeah, let's go, let's do it? No, he does not do any of it. He says, I can't do it. What if they don't believe me? What if they say, who sent me here? What if they don't want to listen? I can't talk good. All these different things. He makes up all these excuses for why he can't do it. And part of the point of the sermon was to say, God, I think, specifically used him because he was not the ideal man for the job.
Mm-hmm.
So that way he could demonstrate that it was he, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who saved the people out of Egypt. That it wasn't Moses and his exceptional leadership ability who did it.
Yeah.
Because Moses was chilling in the desert for 40 years while his people languished in slavery.
Exactly.
So it's not like he was launching some sort of a freedom bid from the desert Midi. So anyway. So Moses becomes the before he's leading the people of Israel, he becomes the sort of not the hero, but the anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
The person through whom you see all of his weakness.
Yeah.
And yet, in spite of his weakness, he's able to accomplish so much.
Yeah.
Because God is the one accomplishing that, not him. Yeah. So I think that stuff all sort of and it's funny how often in the Bible it is the moral failure that becomes the hero.
Yeah.
It's it's the one who is not taking responsibility that God uses. Look at Gideon. Gideon's like, no, God, I don't really want to be a judge of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know it's really you? How are you going to prove it to me? Show me the sign.
Mm-hmm.
God shows him. I mean, it's funny to me how often the Lord uses those people who are not the ideal to accomplish his purpose.
And don't want to,
Yeah, they don't want to do it.
They're like, I don't want to.
Yeah. So it's definitely where you see an element of God's power and provision.
And that's the whole point of it right there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how does that what is that? How does that inform us? What does that tell us about biblical masculinity? Because there's a sense in which you could look at Moses and say, yes, we should be like Moses in that he was used mightily of God. But there's also a sense when we should look at Moses and we should say, let's not be so hesitant
Yeah.
to do those things that God has decreed for us to do,
Yeah.
that He has told us to do, prescribed for us to accomplish. Let's not waste a bunch of time. Let's get it.
Let me be a judge of that. Don't tell me what to think, Martin. I just
Okay,
want to be the
all
judge
right,
of it
all right.
myself. Okay.
Sure. You do that, buddy.
I will. I will do it and I'll do it right.
I'll do it like a champion.
Do it like the best ever.
By the way, one of your favorite characters, Ron Burgundy, has a podcast.
I know. I'm gonna check that out. I saw that. I was like, dude, this is gonna be awesome.
It's kind of like the B-roll of Ron Burgundy stuff, like deleted scenes and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can tell that he's just sort of vamping in the character and doing stuff that it doesn't seem super scripted.
He's just goofing off, basically, is what it seems like.
Right.
Right.
It seems like some of this stuff is working and some of it is.
Like, what the heck was he thinking?
Yeah. So I'm optimistic about it. I think Ron Burgundy's podcast is going to be quite
Awesome.